So, good morning, Yorkshire Classic Cars Ltd fans. Welcome back to another day in sunny rain. No, it's honking it down with rain out there. You can probably hear it clattering off the roof. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't, but it is really loud in here because it's a metal roof. So I do a quick weekly update. It looks like nothing's changed, but things have. First off, I'd like to say thank you so very much for my subscribers. I've now topped 1,000, which I never envisaged ever actually happening, and I really do appreciate that. If you're watching this and you haven't subscribed, please click subscribe. If you ring the bell, it tells you when I put a video on. If you click the bell, obviously it doesn't say it costs you anything. I subscribe to loads of channels. All it does is give you a reminder when I put a video out, and that helps me out a lot. It helps a lot more if you watch them, but the fact is that's there. So thank you for that. Having a little bit of trouble at the minute. Sometimes I put a bit of music on my montages. Mostly, it's free to use. I get it off Clipchamp. It's free to use. It's copyright free, it says. And then YouTube throws it up as a copyright problem. Not as a warning, but it says for some reason it won't let me use that music in it. Some days it does, some days it doesn't. So I'm trying to I don't want to do silent montages, and I'm trying to find other music, but it's all listed as the same bits. But anyway, so we're sorting that out. So if you notice there aren't as many montages in some of my videos, that's why. Because obviously you don't want a massive blank of pictures, you know. Anyway, so back on with it. The 1100, Austin 1100, I'm doing a series of videos on this. This came in for inner sills and sills. You can see there that I've repaired the inner sill there on that corner. I know that looks ridiculous, but it won't. It'll all come into fruition. If you haven't watched the video, it makes a lot more sense if you do. Currently, I've got as far as that. Again, there is a video for each section. The floor section is in. The rear crossmember section is back in. So this side should be quite easy now. What I'm thinking about doing actually is cutting off here. I'm going to clean this back and check that this all seems absolutely rust-free up here. So rather than disturb these, what I'm debating doing is cutting along that edge there, grinding it back, cleaning it all off, and then welding the new sill, a seam weld, so it becomes one piece there. Because this is all nice and in place and strong and rot-free. It is absolutely rot-free is all the top half of that sill. It is only the bottom where the moisture's collected. So I'm not going to do some weird overlappy weird thing. I'll just put the new sill underneath that, cut the top off it, weld it together, and then it all comes one piece. I may not do that yet. I'm going to wire wheel that all off and make sure it's all right. And I may just adjust the sill down a little bit just to make the gaps a little better. Take you around the other side so you can see a little better what I've done in there. Doesn't really look a lot of work, but there is days and days of work in that. It's going to make a really nice job when it's done. As for this side, yeah, doesn't look as good at this side. I usually start on the worst looking side, and I didn't think that side was going to be bad. I was going to have that sill done within a couple of days, and this one within a couple of days, but, you know, this is classic car ownership. Well, say ownership, working on classic cars, it's obviously not mine. You'll see the car under the cover behind me. That's the Mini. It's still just about finished. It needs to go back to the engine builder, who's just going to finalise the running and make sure everything's tip-top. There's a couple of tiny little jobs left for me to do on it. God, I love this gimbal. There's a couple of tiny little jobs left to do on it. I'm going to change the dashboard top and stuff like that. With me or the owner didn't think the one that was in looked right. It had the later Clubman type top, and that came over the centre speedo, made it difficult to read. So what we're going to do is probably fill the holes and vinyl that with some vinyl that is bought to match the rest of the interior. The whole interior is black. Black carpets, black seats, black headlining, black sun visors, black mirror, black everything, you know. Tinted windows. So if you leave the dash top white across there, it looks a little bit ridiculous. I know that's how they're supposed to be, but it just doesn't look right. So we're going to have a look at that and change that. Bit of a mess on the floor here. Pattern making for the 1100. Those are the sills for the 1100. I'm about to paint those, actually. The Stag is still ongoing. The 1100 became such a big job that I literally haven't stopped. It's been an 8 in the morning to late at night sort of job. So I just want to get it done and back to the owner. The Capri of mine, I started on that with the wiring loom. The last update I did on it, the wiring loom had just arrived. I had been trying to do an hour every evening on it and get that done. If you want to find the most soul-destroying job in the world, it's fitting wiring looms to cars. However, what I will say is I've done it in a logical order. So the rear end, the rear lamps, are all connected up, wired in and complete. The column, start switch, indicators, is all finished, complete and harnessed up there behind the back of that support for that. Okay, I hope you can see that. The gauges are all complete. They're all wired up. This wiring is all for the switch gear, which needs to go up to the switch panel that I made, which is up there. So all these wires will need extending, which is what takes a lot of time, actually. But the switch gear is all up here. It's all installed ready. I have sockets for the plugs, obviously. So that'll just need soldering together. Some extra switches will need other wires running, so things like the nitrous oxide heater and the nitrous oxide arming switch and things like that. I'm not going to use nitrous anyway on it, probably, but I'd just like it, you know, ready to go if I do choose to use it. Excuse me. The other wiring down there on the passenger seat, that needs to all go in the engine bay. But what I'm going to do is, once the engine is back in, I'm going to buy the ECU, still have more the ECU, wire that all up, and wiring from that will have to come in the car, and wiring from this will have to go out the car. So I'll sort of combine those two tasks at the same time. The engine is still sat over here. It hasn't gone a millimetre further. Still haven't torqued up the big ends, and I still need to sort the sump out where the oil return is and build the manifolds up, but I have been so busy with the 1100. Excuse me. That hasn't come into contention. Did have yesterday off because it's half term with the kids, and sometimes you just got to spend a day with your kids, haven't you? So yeah, so that's where we stand at the moment. The green stag is going to be back on the ball soon. Okay, so the owner has been in touch about that, so we're moving along with that anytime soon. So things are moving forward, and at some point I'll be starting to get some bits and bobs finished on that, so it's ready for paint. The GT6 it's a long-term background affair. It's been sat here for a couple of years, so it's not like it's an aching rush to have it done in a couple of weeks. It'll be a little bit here, a little bit there when I get the chance. So yeah, that's where we stand at the moment. Another couple of cars waiting to come in. I think I've got a TR8 to come in. Sorry if you're watching this and you're the owner and I haven't done you the price. I will. I haven't completely forgotten. I do keep forgetting to do it on an evening, but I will do you that. And I think I have a TR7 V8 gearbox coming in, but I'm not sure. I need to talk to the owner and see if he still wants me to do it. And then I've got a Spitfire coming in the end of the month as well. So those will all be interesting to see. Right, so if you haven't subscribed, please do. Thanks for your likes, thanks for your subscriptions, thanks for your comments. Absolutely love them. Very positive, really enjoy that. Sorry I don't get to reply to them all straight away, or in fact reply to some of them at all yet, but I will. I promise I will. I'm literally chasing both ends of the candle at the moment. So yeah, everything good, everything moving forward. Happy. Hopefully one day YouTube will get me enough money to buy myself a pot of tea. But they are £2.20, so it might take about 15 years. Cheers for that. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.